just rumors circulating over the last couple of days with that early exit from the Milwaukee Bucks that could Giannis Antetokounmpo possibly saying, you know what, I'm maybe done in Milwaukee. What's going on over here in Milwaukee, Zach?
I think that's extreme. I'm not buying that. I think Giannis is. I think the weird thing is, like, Giannis is one of those, like, insanely loyal dudes, right? And so when he starts throwing Mike Budenholzer under the bus, which is exactly what he did after that loss, saying we didn't make adjustments, I would have liked to guard, Jimmy Butler more, but that's the coach's call. That's very throwing him under the bus. Giannis doesn't talk like that. And so I think Mike Budenholzer is probably going to be out. That's not confirmed, but it's probably going to be out. And then I think we see where they want to go with the coach, whether that's Charles Lee, their very popular assistant, or whether that's someone else, like maybe bringing in Nick Nurse, who just got fired in Toronto. Like, I think that's the change we're going to see. I can't imagine Giannis to be like, all right, get me out of here.
Yeah, I know, just disappointing loss. And so you see the fallout over the last couple of days. And people, I'm just saying, watching, trying to figure out their roles on the team. It's just so much up in the air. And I can't believe it. They're out of the playoffs. But now you talk about the teams who are in the playoffs. And we talked about last night's game. The Boston Celtics, they get a win. They win Game 6. They move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Now we know Sixers, Celtics. How does this Eastern Conference semifinal match up for you on both sides, whether it's the Knicks versus the Heat and also now the Celtics versus the Sixers?
I mean, is it weird that I'm more interested in Knicks Heat because both these teams are kind of scrappy and we have the history? Like, you look at the rich history of just the last, 25 years, 26 years between these two teams. There's a lot of fights. Remember, Amari Stoudemire once punched a fire extinguisher? There's been a lot that's happened in this rivalry. And to get it renewed with two hard-nosed teams that make a lot of, hard-nosed winning plays, I'm excited for that series. Don't get me wrong. Sixers Celtics is going to be great.
Right.
We've seen this story before. That's just all about, can Joel Embiid be dominant against the Celtics, which he hasn't been in the past. His numbers against the Celtics in the playoffs are good, but they're not dominant, and it hasn't led to very many wins. And so, that's just can this guy get over the hump against his team? Knicks Heat, who knows what's going to happen when Jimmy Butler's out there?
Is there a legitimate shot for the winner of that series, whether it's the Heat or the Knicks, to actually win an NBA title, or is it just about getting to the NBA Finals and see what happens when you get there?
I'm still in on the Heat. Look, the Heat were a shot away from making the NBA Finals last year.
Okay.
Right? And would they have beaten the Warriors in the finals? Probably not. I can't imagine they would have, but I think it would have been tough, and I think they would have put up a good fight. So I think it would probably be more like that. I don't think the Knicks quite have it. Jalen Brunson's really good. The role players are playing really well. I think Julius Randle needs to be a lot better if they're going to start thinking about, all right, can we beat the Celtics or the Sixers? But I do think the Heat, there's still enough there over the last few years where if they're hitting three-point shots, everything else they do makes it really difficult to beat them.
NBA writer for The Athletic and radio host on SiriusXM NBA Radio, Zach Harper, joining the Rich Eisen Show. Kirk Morrison here, filling in for Rich. Zach, obviously we talked about one side of it, but 76ers, Celtics, what should we expect? This going 6, 7, what should we possibly expect? I know the health of Embiid is a big part of this, but what should we expect from this series?
It should go 7, but like you said, Embiid, it seems like there's always something, right? There's one time he was sick. There's one time he's been dealing with injuries. He got his face broken last year. There's always something with Embiid in the postseason. And it is this just black hole of misfortune when it comes to everyone involved in the Sixers. James Harden always finds a way to flame out, right?
Right.
Joel Embiid always finds a way to flame out. Doc Rivers, the king of blowing 3-1 leads in NBA coaching history.
Yeah.
But you have all of these good things. The Sixers have had some decent teams, and they've made it to the conference finals once in the last 22 years, right? It's they don't have success, whereas the Celtics, they're this institution and everything, but it all comes down to if Embiid plays like the MVP, it puts the Celtics in a tough predicament, but we don't see that consistency from Joel Embiid in the postseason year after year.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.